everybody. It's John here from our Hodgepodge Homestead, and today is Pantry Chat number 4. I'm kind of getting into these. They're a lot of fun. I love watching you guys, messaging me back with questions and things like that. I did get a question the other day about shelving and what size they are. These are just shy of 6 foot tall. They're 18 inches deep and 48 inches long. And then I added my own shelves. They came with the bottom shelf and there's 5 shelves altogether. So I think they're called muscle shelves. Home Depot, Walmart sells them now too. And they were a lot cheaper at Walmart when I saw them there than I got them at Menards, I believe. Anyway, on to our chat here today. What I want to talk about today is our choice in lifestyles and why we do what we do. Just some points and some special things on that. What gets us here and why we do it. So, number one, our lifestyle is to be more self-sustaining and less dependent. Now, I'm never going to get to the point where I don't have to go to the store because I don't have enough land to grow wheat to make my own flour. I don't have enough land to grow beef. I don't have enough land, just to get all the things that we need. Milk, I don't have a cow, I don't have milk. I guess I could get milk from goats. Been down that road. It wasn't something that we particularly enjoyed, but I'll go there. So let's start off with food. Okay, so to get food for your family, you have a garden, you raise meat, or you hunt and you fish. We do all 3 of those. Let's go right into the garden. Okay, when you get to the point where you want to have a garden, you just don't go out there and grow stuff. It's easy, it's a lot of hard work, but there's planning that goes into having a garden. Where are you going to have your garden? How big is it going to be? What are you going to plant? And just like putting food up in your pantry, plant what you're going to eat. I don't plant eggplants because I don't eat eggplants. I love all the squashes. Next year when you guys see this room, I'm going to have a bunch of squashes down here because now I have a place to store them throughout the winter. They won't go bad. It's cool enough, it's dry enough, it's going to be perfect for them. You're going to have spring crops, you're going to have cold crops, you're going to have your summer crops. And it takes a little time to figure all that out and to get it in your head, but once you got it, it's there, and you can plant your spring peas 5 or 6 times before it gets too hot to have peas. Your radishes, your lettuces, that kind of stuff that likes the colder weather, and then you get into the summer where your tomatoes and your peppers start rolling out like that, your squashes, your zucchini, cucumbers, all that kind of stuff, and then again you go right back into the fall and you get your beets, you get your kales, your spinaches, your lettuces again, and it just keeps going. You got to figure out, are you going to do a tilled garden where every year you've got to till it? And that's a maintaining thing that you got to do throughout the year. Otherwise, weeds are going to overrule you. You will not have enough time to pick all the weeds or the energy. Weeds take away from the nutrients in your soil for your plants. So you gotta weed. If you don't weed, don't garden. That's just that simple. Weeds have gotten the best of me before, and I've lost a lot of crop. Actually one year forgot I had celery out there because I didn't think it was growing. I let that part of the garden go. The good thing is when it came time to take care of the garden for winter, I had great celery, but that was just a crazy thing there. Okay, so there's tilling. There's a no-till garden where you lay cardboard down over where you want to garden and you cover it with 8 or 9 inches of mulch, tree barks. You got these guys cutting trees, trimming trees around your area. They got truckloads full of bark and trees. Have them dump it off, There's raised beds. You build 24-inch raised bed garden, there's lots of less weeding, but that's money intensive. It's you know, time building them. You got to fill that up with good soil. We're heading that way just because we're getting older. You know, I'm 57, and spending a day bending over in the garden hurts me for 4 days. So we're making our way there. Okay, so when you're talking about planting your garden, are you going to do it with you're going to pre-plant seeds, or are you going to go to the store and buy plants? Now, we have still not been really successful with the seed issue, because one year we did it way too early. We were excited. It was cool. It was our first time. We had the growing little stations. We had the lamps, and we had all the little pods, and we planted our seeds, and a few days later they all started to sprout, and we were jamming. We were doing great. Well, then it was still February. We live in Michigan. The plants got that tall. I transplanted them into different things. The next thing you know, I didn't have enough grow light. I didn't have enough space to lay them out. It was a tragedy. It just didn't work out very good. We went and bought plants. We tried again the following year, and we ended up deciding that that's the year we were going to sell our house and travel, and I was retiring that year, and it didn't work again. So this year, I'm going to have a greenhouse. As soon as I get done working on a part of our house where I'm making 2 bedrooms out of one great big room, we're going to start on the greenhouse, and that'll be rolling by the time my plants are ready to leave their little bungalows with the heat lamps and the heat pads, and they're going to go out there. So that'll be a video that I'll show you guys, and we're very excited about that. Okay, but some of the things that involved that, the issues we had, again, was we planted seeds. They germinated. It was great. We were excited, but then we ran out of room. And we have a cat that likes to eat greens, so he was tipping them over and getting in them. And we basically, when you're thinking about that, you got to think about what are these plants going to be like before you can get them out in the ground. Where are you going to put them? What are you going to do with them? Type thing. These are just all down the road type things that we didn't see that I want you guys to know about. Okay, so those are some of the issues. Now, if you want to buy plants from the store, you're gonna pay money for them. Tomato plants, $2.99, $3.99, wherever they are. Now, granted, you're gonna get a lot of fruit off that plant, but if you want 10 plants, you're up to 40 bucks in your garden already. I don't think I have $40 worth of seeds, you know, that we did one year. Granted, they didn't work, but hey, it's a price-saving thing if you can go and do it with seeds. So, once you're doing your garden, you've got garden maintenance, okay? You've got to go through, you've got to weed. You're going to eventually get to a point where you want to start pruning some of your plants so that all that energy doesn't go to stems and leaves. You want it to go to your fruit. You've got to do that. You're going to get into the point where you're going to start picking your fruit. And a lot of times when fruit comes in, it all comes in at the same time. You know, you got 1,000 beans, or you got, 500 tomatoes or zucchini squash or whatever. You've got to figure out how you're going to process that, and then you've got to figure out how you're going to store it. Well, this is kind of where we come full circle. So we plant our garden, we plant our garden, we maintain our garden, we harvest our garden, and it fills up our pantry. And that is very self-satisfying. It makes you feel so good that you put it in the ground. You nurtured it, you maintained it, you took care of it when it was done, and I still got tomatoes marked 2012. Some people say don't eat it. It's still good. It still smells like the day it went in there. It still tastes just like the day it went in there. And this can happen for you. It's hard work. I did it before I was retired. Before I was retired, I was tired. But now that I'm retired, I just cannot wait to spend all that time with my plants in my garden and make this all happen and not feel rushed, So, okay, I know that's real quick, real simple on the garden. I just want to let you guys know what's in store when you grow a garden for your pantry. Okay, it is a lot of work. There's a lot of sweat equity goes into it. but your return is awesome. Okay, let's go into the meat side of your food for your house. In the past, we've raised goats, rabbits, quail, pheasants, pigs, turkeys. I might be missing something in there. Oh, chickens, definitely chickens. You know, meat birds, eggs. You know, I can't believe I didn't get that. I don't know if I'll ever go the goat route again. I loved having goats. I think I was the only one. Me and my son were the only ones that really enjoyed the meat. It was great, but goats are rough on fences. They waste a lot of feed, and I got to the point with my herd that I wanted it to be, but once I got there, I didn't realize it wasn't making me any money. Having the babies, selling them wasn't cost effective. Rabbits don't breed like rabbits when you're raising them. They do, but there's lots of issues. Cages are expensive. It takes a lot of time to build cages. Oh yeah, I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself here. When you're raising animals for meat, you've got to think of 4 things. Fencing costs money, takes up room, takes up time. You have to figure out your space for each animal. Each animal needs to have a certain amount of square footage to have them a good life. And one thing you always want to remember whenever you're raising animals is they depend on us. Excuse me. They depend on you and I for what they need every day. An animal that you raise on your farm, your homestead, should have one bad day. And we all know what that day is. And to keep them from having more than one bad day, you got to have good fencing to keep out predators. If you're raising chickens, pheasants, quail, quail are usually raised in cages type pens, but pheasants are usually in pens, chickens, turkeys. Sometimes you got to have a cover net over them because the birds of prey will come in and get them, or animals will climb right over the fence at night, minks, possums, raccoons. They will get them. So you have to give them a secure place to roost and stay. Your shelters for your animals. They've got to, if an animal is dry and out of the wind, they can usually stay warm with what they have with them. Some good bedding always works, but as long as they're out of the wind and dry, they can pretty much survive the cold days. Your pens, you want to have your pens secure. Always make your pens accessible to something more than just you walking through it. Because if you got to get in there with a wheelbarrow or a quad or a four-wheeler of some sort, make your gate big enough so you can do that. Believe me, it will come in handy. I've learned my lesson that way. Whenever I have a gate going into something that's big enough that I can get more than just me through. You want to always consider water and food for your animals. Okay, rabbits, you can have the little droppers or the automatically fed. You can do that with all your animals. But you always got to consider water and food. Bulk feeding, bulk watering. If you bulk water and bulk feed, you always got to be prepared for that to get tipped over, or things like that. You always want to have, I try to give them fresh water every day. When you bulk water, that's hard to do. But, I don't want to drink warm water every day. I don't think my animals do either. So I usually try to give them fresh water every day. I do bulk water my pigs, but I also give them a bucket of fresh water every day, so they have the option. Let's see. Pigs are great. I will always have pigs. I've got my journal from when I did pigs in 2018. I raised 3 pigs. They were American guinea hogs. I bought them for $50 a piece, $150 right there. I had to buy a lot of things to go with pigs. My end price for raising 3 pigs was $598. That's including buying the pigs. Now their hanging weights were all in the 190s. I had one small one, and she was 150. I had 2 people buy a half a pig, 1 guy buy a whole pig, and then I had a pig. After they paid all the processing fees and the butchering fees, my pig was free. So that's a win-win for me. and they ate great. They ate good food. They ate GMO-free food. They ate lots of table scraps. Now they probably got some GMOs from the table scraps. You know, I can't block all that out of my life, but that was a great way to go with these pigs. So I will do that again. You guys will see that ride this summer. Okay, now once you've raised all your food, you've raised all your meat, now comes processing of that and processing of your meat. You've got to know in advance, are you going to do it yourself? Are you going to take it into somebody? That's an added cost. I still don't know how to do pigs well enough to do them on my own. I mean, I can butcher a pig down and get what I want, but I'm going to miss out on those specialty, you know, the hams, the steaks, the chops, all this kind of stuff. So I'll still take mine in until I'm better at it to do that. But as far as our meat birds, our meat chickens, we raise those, we butcher them right here, and we love them. I mean, chickens are a great thing to do with your meat birds. You guys will be watching that this summer too. Matter of fact, I should be getting birds. I'm probably going to start birds the end of April this year, and I'm going to try to do 3 batches of 20, because I just don't need any more than that, and I don't have space for more than that. But you guys will see that whole process and see how it goes. And so another thing that you really want to start watching videos on how these animals are raised. There's 1,000 of them out here on YouTube. Pick your style of doing it. Now you're gonna do it one way and figure, okay, I'm gonna do it this way now. I'm gonna do it this way now. I'm gonna do it this way now. Until you find out what's good for you, that's sometimes what you have to do. Find out what's best for your situation on your property and your time frame and things like that. Don't go big too fast. Go slow. It's easy to go into TSC in the spring and buy 40 chickens. Just remember, one bad day. Remember the added price on having things butchered? And remember storage. What are you going to do with all this stuff once it comes time to be butchered, frozen, packaged, however you're going to do it, canned? You know, you got to think about all these things way in advance. So, again, this was just a real quick how to get this stuff in your pantry and how to help you guys become a little bit more self-sustaining and less dependent on everything else. So we'll go deeper in depth on these things as they start happening on our homestead here in the spring. Again, we're gonna have pigs, we're gonna have chickens. I'm leaning toward the possibility of having a couple sheep, and I'll be doing lamb butchering at that point. That all depends on how things go, and it might not happen this year. But I do have the links to get me a couple good sheep, so we'll figure that out when it comes. And I've also got a cow being raised by the Pratt family homestead, so that's going to be neat too. But anyway, that's another year away before we even get into that. So anyway, guys, before I'm done here, I want to give a shout out to a couple of my friends I haven't seen in a long time. They watch the channel all the time. Jennifer and Jason, thumbs up, guys. I miss you guys. Here at the Hodgepodge Homestead, we love raising a garden. We love growing our own meat, and you should too. See you guys later.